Hey friends, and welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of Moto. This is episode 12, a little fun one I'm sneaking in here. We're dedicating this one to Shane Moody McElrath. Dan Colvin, Toolman Dan is here. Dan, how did we work this out? How does this happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. I feel like I'm lost. This is like the Real Housewives of Moto. I'm certainly not a housewife. I don't know. You talked me in. I don't know. You didn't talk me into this. We had this like just weird idea. So
Yep.
right.
Yep. You are not a housewife, but you appreciate some good Moto tea. I mean, you are very well connected. We'll say that.
Sometimes I'm more connected than I want to be honest.
Hey, heard that.
There's stuff that you wish you just didn't know.
Yep.
That's how I feel a lot of times.
Yeah. I kind of feel that way. Like, I mean, I will say it, forever. Like I'm just a fan of the sport. I love it. I'm nobody, but there are a few things that like I've started to hear where I'm like, maybe I don't want to know that. Like, don't want to hear it.
I know.
So, well, cool. Dan and I, like Dan said, we were, shooting the shit like we always, do. Dan and I are friends in real life. Met him through some side projects through Main Event Moto that we shall not name. Side projects that launched and then quickly died. We won't name that one, but
Yeah.
Thought it'd be cool to like put this on record. So we're going to talk a little about like what's going on in the sport this week. We're not going to beat Hangtown to death or talk about Thunder Valley. Like we'll save that for the 11,000 other moto pods that are out there. So anywho, Dan is going to break some breaking green news here. So Dan, what are you hearing around your beloved green team?
Yeah, I heard this week that Joe Shimoda is going back to PC. So,
I am shooketh. Like
I am too.
I shouldn't be shocked, but like I am, and I have more questions now, like follow-up thoughts. So do you think, I mean, aside from it being Cowie, like take your Cowie hat off. Like, are you excited about it? Do you have questions? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, we'll see if it's true. The source that I heard it from is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it does make sense. I think that he's struggled over the last couple of years on the Honda.
Mm-hmm.
His setup is vastly different than the Lawrence brothers were when they were on 250s. His setup's different than Chance's. So I think he struggled a little bit, and I think that PC was a good home for him. So, but I mean, he's doing incredible right now outdoors. He won A1 Supercross.
Yep.
Not the broken finger. It would have been interesting to see where he would have stacked up against the rest of the field, but he's come out swinging in the outdoors. He's gone, I think, 2-2 the last.
Yeah, everything.
So things are coming around on the Honda that makes you kind of wonder, man, I don't know, is this a good move? Is it, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think with Joe, you kind of get what you get.
Yeah, I do too. I'm encouraged by him coming out swinging, because previous years it's been like he takes off at the middle or the end of the season. You're like, well, where was that in the first 3 rounds? You could have been competitive. So I'm here for it. I mean, he was on Pulp 2 weeks ago, maybe, basically not so subtly saying that Honda was asking, we will say, for him to try the Lawrence Brothers setups. And it sounds like he did not want to do that. So I'm like, good on you, Joe. Like, blaze your own path. So if it is true, I'm here for it.
His setup, even at Cowie, was completely like way different than the rest of the riders. So he likes to set his bike up kind of uniquely. So,
hey, good on him. Good on him. I think it'd probably be easier to come into Honda and say, yeah, I'll try what Jet's doing. Like, why would you not? But for you to say like, no, that's not how I ride. That's not how I want to set it up. Like, I think that takes a spine. Like, good job, Joe.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's, I hope it's true. I like Joe. I actually really like Joe on Cowie. I mean,
I like him too. I mean, his English, I think we mentioned this. I was talking to somebody, so maybe it was the pod, maybe it was just somewhere else, but his English has like, it is perfect. And now like his own humor and like personality is shining through. And I'm like, you are winning fans, Joe.
I went to it was the intro to SMX at the Coliseum, LA Coliseum, when they did the big press conference, when they were releasing the whole Super Motocross series and all that. Right. And I interviewed a bunch of guys that day. I interviewed RC, AC.
Oh, I remember the AC one. I remember it.
God, I know.
We won't talk about it.
I interviewed a bunch of guys, and then I interviewed Jason Anderson, and then I interviewed Joe. And everybody's interview was like, 3 to 4 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joe and I's interview was like 30 seconds.
Oh,
it's like weird English, not an English barrier, but it just was awkward.
Yeah.
And Yeah. So like his English from then even to now leaps and bounds.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's incredible. Somebody had told me that you could watch his old vlogs with English dubbed over, because he was doing them in Japanese. And so one of them, this was like literally 3 or 4 years ago. I went and watched with like English dubbed over it, and I was like, he's freaking hilarious. It's just not landing when you read the translation. Like that humor wasn't. So I'm like, yes, good job, Joe. Like English, Cowie, we're here for it. America.
We'll see what happens.
So, I mean, speaking of America, hot topic that we can't not touch on because it's everywhere if you're in the motosphere is the Pride post. We're not going to deep dive this because you guys have had it. You've had the responses shoved down your throat. I'll say that. I don't know that the post itself was shoving it down your throat, but it's everywhere. So again, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to say from a marketing perspective, that's what I do for my 9 to 5. It was a flop. Like know your audience. Like I don't know what you expected. But yeah, I think I'm just kind of like done with it. Like there's all these rumors that, oh yeah, every manufacturer has been called and they have to ride stickers on their bikes. And between you and me, we pretty much have covered all the OEMs and nobody has heard this. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fans spoke, right? Our fans spoke. The fact that Feld or whoever runs that Super Motocross account had to turn the comments off. I think that's
that was a bad move.
We have top riders in the sport. We have multi-time champions that left comments that, I think the majority of the sport feels the same way that they do. So again, I think like you're right. You got to know that clientele. And I don't think that they do based on the actions. And look, I don't care what you do in your personal life at all. Like that's on you. Everybody has choices in the world. But obviously that one is controversial. It's been for years, and it could either be a good or bad move depending on what market or clientele that you have. And in our clientele, it proved to not be a good thing. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. The other unfortunate thing is like you have people like the gentleman that put out a video stating teams got letters and they're going to have to run this, this branding and whatnot. That's not cool. Just for clickbait. I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, I had similar conversations. Obviously, like my DMs are mostly female. I love my girls. We're calling ourselves the Romies, the Real Housewives of Moto homies, and everybody was like, "What is this? Like, this is just like clickbait crap, And they're like, "Jace does it. Like, Gypsy's the king of clickbait, but he says it's clickbait. Like, he tells you it's clickbait." So I don't know. I'm just like, if I see this dude's face one more time in my newsfeed, people be like, "Look at this shit." I'm gonna be like, "No, no."
It spread like wildfire.
It did. It was great for clicks. But I mean, I will say, I have to say this, like as a woman, which would be the minority in this sport, like I just don't want, I don't like the hate response. Like I don't like the hate response to the post. Like chill out about the hate response to the post. Because yes, there are people in the sport who are gay. There are top riders who have gay family members. Like do your research. So like the rage about the post, I don't understand. Like cool your tits. So I'm over it. I'm ready for this weekend. Speaking of said family, we're going to Colorado. Someone's dad is going to be the grand marshal. Like I'm here for that. So like let's just close the door on it. Let's go to Colorado. Moving on. Does that work?
That's one thing about our sport is our fans are pretty quick to forget, right?
Yep.
But a lot of crap that's happened over the years, it lasts for a week or two and then they completely forget about it and we move on. So I think I
will say
on to racing.
Yep. The marketing cycle in moto is very short. I will say on a positive, I was very proud of so Rockstar Husqvarna has put out this series called Grit and Grind. Love it. Apparently it's on season 4. I missed season 1 through 3, so excuse me, I'll have to go back and watch it. But episode 1 focused on Malcolm and Malcolm's first win, which we'll come back to. But at the same time, Jace, good old Gypsy, drops the Malcolm pod. So you're living in this like, Malcolm Rockstar Husky pool. And I'm like, this is how you do a good media drop. This is how you draw on fans to be like, look how hardcore Malcolm is. Like, look at this story. Look at James in the booth. So I'm like, why can't we do more of that and not just like random disconnected, discombobulated PR drops and stuff like, I mean, again, this is my 9 to 5 creeping in, but have you seen any rumblings about the Rockstar Husky stuff? I know I told you before this that I was like, you need to go watch it. It's epic.
Yeah, I have not seen it. I didn't know that there was multiple seasons. I don't know how the hell I missed it, but
Again, a marketing flop.
yeah, I'll have to check it out. Like you said, it was before we started. It's kind of along the lines of Drive to Survive F1
Yep.
series on Netflix. So if it's like that, I mean that I don't know, Aly. I wasn't a huge F1 fan until I started watching that, and so if we can somehow get that into the
Hmm.
sport somehow, huge.
I totally agree. I said this when I finally got this off the ground. So Real Housewives of Moto has been an idea, passion project for years. I remember talking to you about it in like 2019 before COVID. I mean, we've talked about this forever. And so finally got my act together. And really what pushed me over the edge is I was reading some Nielsen ratings, which is the ratings that TV shows and stuff assign. And they were saying that F1 and Drive to Survive's largest demographic was women 24 to 34. And I was like, holy shit, that's me. Well, it was me until my birthday this month. Now I'm 35. But I'm like, that's so cool that like this niche motorsport, which I would say niche in the United States, not so much in Europe, is getting female viewers, you know? And so I'm like, why can't we get that in moto where the women, at least in an amateur level, are the ones that are like driving the sport with buying power? I mean, you introduced me to Keeping Up with the Lewises, Kirsten, I love her, but I'm like, who's driving that RV literally? Like the moms, the women, they're buying the parts, they're going to the races. I mean, dad might be putting the parts on, although she can sling a wrench.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, why are we missing this demo? And I kudos to Grit and Grind. It is very well done. Jace and Big Lou are some of the commentators throughout it, and I was just slow clapping the whole time watching it. I was like, this needs to take off. Somebody needs to give it more money. Somebody needs to hire me to be the T side of it. But I think it's a great thing for the sport, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good, even like Club Life, the one
Hmm.
that Next does is really good. I just think that I don't I don't know, Aly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that people get tired of hearing about the the writers and the writer interviews and the vlogs from the writers. Like, there's a lot of people that want to see kind of the behind the scenes stuff, and
Me, right here, me.
that is what's interesting, right? That's what,
Yeah.
and I think that, man, I think that there's so many. I think the writers started to kind of do that with their vlogs and whatnot,
Hmm.
but the production of them wasn't awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, but like Club Life, this one with Rockstar Husky sounds really good. That is so like capturing to watch,
Hmm.
and all the teams should be on the board with something
Yeah.
like.
I think so. I mean, we can talk about Deegan. The Deegan fans are not my favorite, but I say this big word sometimes off there. I say dichotomy. It's two things can be true at once. You can be cringy off the track and you can be a badass on the track. And I enjoy watching you be a badass on the track, but damn your fans. Anyhow, I'm convinced that the Deeganites, the terrible fans, are the ones that found the Deegans through YouTube and came to the sport, which fine, cool. It's more eyes. But it shows you that you can build a following in behind the scenes and loving the family and loving the values and or you're a Brian fan or whatever. um but that is what drew you in, and so now we've got this whole new demographic of viewers that wouldn't have known about dirt bikes if it wasn't for the Deegans. So I mean, hats off. So I completely agree with you. I think we need more of it. I had heard rumblings that KTM, when they redid Aaron's contract, that a vlog was a requirement. So that was really interesting. And I love AP's vlogs. Like the one from this weekend dropped yesterday, and I have just been like refreshing YouTube to see when it drops because Aaron was, one of the stars, for better or for worse. And I'm like, I want to know, did you almost die? When did you tear off your sleeves on your jersey? Like, I want to know all that, you know?
Yeah, no, it's they're really good, and the
Yeah.
Deegan one, honestly, I mean, they've got to be the pioneers for the rider vlog for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
are they have done such a killer job with the marketing of that. And the cool thing is Brian had a vision for that, like back when the kids were young. He
Mm-hmm.
vlogs back when they were little. So
Yep.
you got to throw your hats off to Brian for seeing what that could do for those kids in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They're making millions of dollars on their vlog.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, when are we going to have a Moto Militia team again? Like, when are we going to say, cool, Star, you can't afford me anymore? When we're going to do our own thing? Like, how long? 2 years? 1 year?
That's going to be interesting to see what happens with Deegan. There was a lot of talks that they were gonna start their own team. Those have kind of, I haven't heard that
I
lately,
haven't either.
and
I haven't
so
either.
you got to think with Eli's career kind of coming to an end, he's going to be leaving Yamaha next year, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Webb's career is kind of coming, he's on the backside of it, right? We don't
Yep.
know when to leave, but Deegan could be the face of Yamaha
Yeah.
very easily. And I think he's the type of guy that could jump on just about anything,
Mm-hmm.
brand any motorcycle and just ride it. I don't see why he wouldn't stay there. But
Yeah. It seems like a good fit.
yeah.
Speaking of someone who seemingly can't jump on a bike, any bike, and make it work, let's talk about Chase Sexton.
Easy, Aly. Easy.
Hey, I love me some Chase
We're gonna
Sexton.
make that green bike work good.
I love Chase. I do. And it's funny because, my reel about Chase's Alpine Stars gear kind of blew up. And so everybody's like, oh, she's obsessed with Chase. I'm like, no. First of all, my Wheaties box is out of frame, but my first love is Ryan Dungey. Ryan has retired. But now I'm like, I'm a Kenny girl. You were there at Fox with me when Kenny came out in his underwear and I about fainted.
Did.
Like, I don't know that I told that story on air. Maybe I should clarify that.
Oh yeah, you gotta tell it. That's a good one.
Oh my gosh. So was this Anaheim? Was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember which one it was, but
I think it was 2 years ago.
yeah. So I flew out to Anaheim for said project we won't discuss. And Dan and I hung out. We went to TLD, we went to Fox. And so we show up at Fox and all the big doors, all of them were locked. And so there's people inside and Dan and I are like, what the hell's going on? So they came and opened the door, let us in. And I'm like geeking out, because immediately I see Travis's bike that, he jumped into the bay and all the jerseys on the wall. And then one of them is open. One of the jersey walls or one of the jersey bays is open. And it's Kenny. So I'm like, what's going on? And, we're looking around, whatever. And I turn around and Kenny comes out of the dressing room in his underwear, holding a pair of pants, being like, oh, yeah, these don't fit or whatever. And I look at you like, you're going to have to come catch me because I'm going to faint. Like,
that's a true story. You were shocked. You were like, oh my God.
I think it was, and then Courtney was behind me too. So it was just like, I couldn't catch my breath because I love me some Courtney Roxon. I had met Courtney briefly at the press conference. We were bonding over Griffin watching Miss Rachel on the iPad. And I was like, man, like every kid's an iPad kid when they're just trying to get him to shut up so dad can do some work. But yeah, I was one, starstruck by Kenny, two, starstruck and he is in his underwear. I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm just like, okay, look away. And then I look away and I'm looking at his wife. Like, what do I do with that?
And then you
good times.
rapping with Courtney Roxon.
It says what?
You started rapping with Courtney Roxon.
I think she's a delight. So, Courtney, if you ever want to come chat, hit a girl up. So, okay, Chase going to green. I mean, this is like the most like poorly kept secret ever, but what are we doing right now?
I heard it's done. I heard the deal is finally done because there for a minute everybody was saying it was done, then it wasn't done. He was kind of waiting to see what the financials of KTM were looking like. I heard the deal is done, signed, delivered, done deal. He's going to Kawasaki next year. But yeah, the question is like, what the hell is going on with them right now, right? Because there's rumors that that he's not hurt at all. Just doesn't want to ride for whatever. I ride, that. Every crash is a little bit different. Some of the crashes that don't look bad are the bad ones. Most of the time, we've seen Chase Sexton yard sale himself how many times?
More times than I would like to admit.
Bad, right? Bad. Like cartwheel. Yeah. That one that he had at Paula was not that bad of a crash. And
I would agree.
Again, you don't know. Like he could have pulled something, tore something. We just really don't know because, like I said, anything can happen. But it's a little sus, if you ask me.
It's a little sus. I would agree with that. And then I think after Paula, Lewis interviewed Ian and Ian's like, yeah, he'll be back as soon as possible or something like that. And like, that just was not a good look because I'm like, Ian's your boss. And then you come back and say, that's not right. And poor Lewis, who's the captain of the Sexton ship, you're telling him he's incorrect. Like, I mean, I am here for the drama, all over the motosphere on the internet, but that was, you saw it. I reposted it. Like, what did you think of the "that's incorrect" tweet from Chase?
I thought it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I did too.
Chase and Lewis are friends, right? So, but I just thought it was funny because these media guys, and we all do it, right? We put like the Joe stuff that could be completely false. I hope not, but it could be. But
Mhm.
they put stuff out online that they hear throughout the week, and a lot of times riders, teams, nobody responds to it. So you're really left to wonder until a rider shows up, or there's at the track, or there's a press release that's released, official.
Mhm.
So I thought it was awesome. I actually thought it was awesome. It was transparent that Chase Sexton himself came on and said that's not correct. So we need more of that, Aly. We need more
I
like
think so.
in the sport. So I'm here for it. I loved it. And it gives us something to talk about.
Yeah. Hey, I'm here for it. I think I'm all for transparency. I think sometimes even the PR releases, I mean, like I have to write PR releases in my 9 to 5 and they're so quaffed and every word is picked apart. And like, I mean, even his post, like when he said he's not coming back, like that was so vague. Like I was like, okay, cool, Chase, thanks for that. But then the tweet and then the Lewis response, the Chase response, and then JT coming in being like, he tweeted this with his hat backwards. I was like, JT gets it. JT's in on Hatgate.
This hat
That
game
cracked me up.
that's got going on is, I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying it, Aly. I don't know.
I did okay, so I hyped it up from the get-go because I just thought it was funny. Also, I'm a sucker for a backwards hat. Like Tim knows that like if he wants to get in my good graces, like flip that hat backwards and go fix something around the house. Like he knows. He knows. The first time I was like, okay, I'll give it a pass. The second time I was like, he is doing that intentionally. And I heard from very, very credible sources at KTM that he had been warned. Like he had been wrist slapped. It was like, do not turn it around, do not hide logos. And then how many times has he done it since then? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Like,
He's up
so
to you.
it's in my opinion, it's this. So if you're not watching on audio, I mean on video, it's the middle finger. Like I think he's like, I'm done. I hate the bike. I'm moving on. However, he also did this at Honda. Like I mean, 3 manufacturers in 5 years, 6 years. Like I feel like he's searching for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, you're gonna tell me he'll find it at Cowie because Cowie is heaven, but
The cow, it. I The Kawasaki is a very stable motorcycle. So
mm,
the KTM is fairly stable as well, right? I've ridden both. I ride Cowies on the daily, but it's a stable motorcycle. Um, we haven't seen these front tucks very
mhm.
often on the KTM. It's been more of these other weird crashes, these weird things. I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
here's what I'm afraid of is, and Chase is going to be a champion again, probably potentially indoors and outdoors.
Oh, hot take.
You don't think so?
What do you mean next year? Like next year Supercross? You think he's gonna win it?
She's got a good shot. I think he may struggle a little bit jumping from manufacturer to manufacturer, but I think in Chase's career, he's going to be a champion again. He's going to get it
Okay.
figured out.
I'll
He's
stamp
got,
it. Like we used to say in the main event moto days, Aly, write it down. I'll put it in the spreadsheet.
but is it going to be one of those things like Chase Sexton is just Chase Sexton? It's kind of like Joe, you get what you get. Like, is this ever going to really change? Is he
I
going to
don't
be
know.
a time champion? Is he going to string championships in a row? Like, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I just think kind of get what you get with Chase. You may get him when he's hot. You may get him when he's not. So he's got to just clean up the little stuff, like the little mistakes, the little crashes. That's what's costing him big in the long run. It's nothing major during the season. It's all these little things that add up.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
He's got to get out of his own head. I mean, I was there at Arlington. I was like third row, right behind that berm that he came and sat on and cried on after. And like you saw him shift, like in that third moto, because it was a triple crown, to I have to win this moto, even though he had the overall in the bag. And you're like, Chase, what the flip are you thinking? Like, just take the win, you know?
Yeah.
So it's bizarre because he is a warrior. He is a competitor at heart. And I know that that's got to suck, especially when like you were just getting zaddied by Cooper Webb, at the end of every race. But it's little things like that where it's like, dude, just sit back and take the win. Like you don't have to manhandle him in this moto and then, lose it all. So if anything, I'm like, just get out of your own head. I mean, I could write a book on getting out of my own head because my body is basically just a body carrying around a brain. But I'm like, Chase, come on.
You got to wonder if it's, like Jet going 22-0, right? It was pure domination.
Yep.
And you got to wonder if some of these other guys want to try to prove something, right? Chase wants to prove that he is the fastest guy speed wise, and he was in Supercross by far, hands down the
Yep.
fastest guy speed wise. So is he just going out there trying to just dominate these guys to prove a point? And if it's the case, yeah, you've proved your point, dude. We all know you're the fastest guy on the track, but you have these mistakes that have cost you the title.
Yep.
You're winning the wars, you're winning the battles, but you're not winning the.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so he's got to fix that.
Yep. And at the end of the day, do I want my legacy to be that, like, damn, you were fastest qualifier for like 6 seasons? Or do I want my legacy to be Cooper Webb's bank account?
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking the checks cashing every day.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Man, that's a hard one. I was about to make a checks cashing joke for our next piece, but financially, we think the cause is of Darkside leaving Vital. I'm so sad for our boy Jamie. What have you heard rumblings of this?
I have. I love Darkside for one. I genuinely love that guy. He's a friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine for years. I hate seeing this. Like he is so passionate about the sport.
Yep.
He is the biggest fan. And honestly, this is what's cool about Darkside. Darkside's story is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a super fan, calling
Yep.
in help, and just he was, and then it grew into what it did, and he was a full blown media guy for Vital
Yep.
MX, and with the Moto X Pod show that he started, and what's cool about that is when he started Moto X Pod show, they were not good.
That's a little true.
But it's just like everything, right? Any podcast or any show or anything that you start, it's just not you watch it back, after 2-3 years, you're like, oh my God, that's terrible, right? But that show had come so far. He's gotten like good guests on. I love Darkside. I know he's gonna land on his feet somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm super bummed for him in the immediate moment.
Yeah, me too. He's in the North Texas area, so I like put out some feelers for some blue collar jobs. I could maybe get him connected, so I'm waiting on a few of those to come back. But Jamie, if you happen to hear this, you got some people in your back corner that are cheering you on. Funny.
Real quick, it's tough, Aly, because coming into this sport as a fan, and I was a fan. Obviously, I know I'm tight with Main Event Moto, right? But we're all fans, okay? And then it transitions into something more. It gets tough because, and I've been kind of publicly open about this about myself. It's you get so consumed with it. With my tool business that's directly related to motocross, with all my podcasting and stuff that I do, with multiple people, with trying to ride myself, right? Going to the races, it kind of becomes not fun at times.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's a tough balance. It really
Yeah.
is.
Shout out DCMX.
Yeah.
Shout out DCMX. We're gonna plug it. We're gonna plug it to High Hill. So I remember maybe it was Anaheim. I guess it would have been Anaheim. We went and dropped off the gas one you did. Was that Will's? Was it Will's? Back when Will was with Gas? Han?
I think
Who was it?
so.
That one was beautiful. That was my favorite toolbox ever.
Troy Designs gas one.
Yeah.
That one was good. Anytime you could put a Red Bull logo on anything for whatever reason, it looks bitchin'. So Red Bull gas TLD boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of Gas, I'm glad they're going to be, Gas TLD sticking around with Ducati. I'm so excited to see how that branding plays out. Cause again, my marketing job is in corporate branding, is in corporate content marketing. So when they announced that TLD and Ducati were going to be hooking up, I was like, oh yes, like chef's kiss.
Honestly, the perfect fit, right?
Yeah.
Perfect fit. Troy is so good with building brands, and I'm sorry, but the TLD pits they always look the best. The bikes look the best. The rig looks the best. The canopy looks the best. The guys look the best in their team shirts. Like they do it right. So for Ducati, a brand new brand coming into the sport, to get linked up with Troy Lee Designs, there's nobody better to help Ducati grow that brand and that motorcycle. So it's going to be sick.
I think so too. I do too. I'm like, give me all the merch. Funny, I called you this day. I met a sales guy for Ducati, like in passing. I work near where the Dallas Cowboys are. So there's always like people coming in and out. And so I got talking to him and I was like, are you going to have a Desmo anytime soon? And they were like, yeah, we're going to be the only dealership in Texas that has them on the floor because all of them have been pre-sold to people in California. So I'm excited. I'm going to drive my butt down to Dallas and go to the Ducati dealership because if they have them on the floor, like I want to see them in person because I don't have the budget like Michael Lindsay to fly my ass to Italy to go test it. So I want to go see it.
Yeah, it's I've heard some rumblings this week on the bike, and it's going to be interesting. It's there's some really good things about the bike. There's some really bad things about the bike, and
It's going
so
to be different.
yeah, with the Desmo design, from what I understand, the bike's very top heavy,
Mm,
so the handling is a little off.
yeah.
Engine's good, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get set up. Um,
Yeah.
I the Kawasaki 450 is like probably the slowest bike in the 450 class, which I like because for a vet guy, they're manageable. So that's kind of always like the benchmark when you're talking to like test riders and other media guys because the Cowie on these shootouts ranks low because of the power output, right?
Hmm.
So I asked one of the prominent media individuals that were in Italy testing the bike. I said, "Would you rather have a stock KX 450 or a stock Ducati?"
Hmm.
Answer was a stock KX 450.
Hmm.
I think,
Well, I mean, it's definitely it's the financially smarter decision. Like we've seen the price tags.
yeah. So I think they have some things to work on with the Ducati. I think they're going to get them worked out just fine. But initially, um, that's that was the feedback I got.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Well, the last thing we want to touch on is World Supercross has finally announced its dates and locations. We had heard rumblings about the schedule and locations, but they also did a release like a couple months ago and it didn't have the dates on it. So it was like, cool story. We're going to these countries, but we're not going to tell you when or specifically what city or what stadium or anything like that. So now we know. We've got the Malaysian GP, Buenos Aires, Canadian GP, which I was like, can I road trip from Texas to Canada for this? The Australian GP, which we know they've done that one a few times, and the South African GP. The South African one is the one that gives me a little bit of pause. Like if you're following anything kind of like in the the news, like it's not exactly the safest area to travel to, but it seems like it's a smart move from like an untapped, I'm saying air quotes, demographic. What are you thinking about the schedule? What do you think about World Supercross in general?
Well, I think it's a great series. I think it's definitely something that is needed. I think it's a great opportunity for some of the riders on the back end of their career to extend their career and to continue making money. So from that aspect, I love it. I think these new investors get it. I think they're willing to put the money into the series to grow it. I still am a little underwhelmed by the amount of rounds. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's better than the 3 round championship that we had, but
Championship.
champion. But man, we really need to get it to like 8. In my opinion, I think 8 would be the magic number for World Supercross. So if they can grow it to that, I think that, in my opinion, is a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Um, I'm cool with the with the locations. I think it's cool. I think the one in Malaysia will be nice. South Africa one that you say is going to be scary. I think you're right, but there is a lot of people in South Africa that ride. It is a
Mm-hmm.
very big moto community. So I think that the turnout there in that country will be very good. So I think despite it being not a safe place, I think it is a whole day World Supercross round.
Yeah, they need to cross brand it with GL. Like the best thing to come out of South Africa motocross.
What
That'd be fun.
they really need to do, Aly, is they need to have a the finale in a place like Vegas.
I'm here for that. That would be epic. Can you imagine? Like two Vegases, one for AMA and one for. Here's the other thing. Pause. So when it launched this morning, it was all over my feed, and I wanted to go share it. And I was seeing it, and I was like, "That's interesting rebranding. They've got a new logo." Also, side note, go look at the logo. I like it. I get what they were going for, like W's and the knobby on the back of the tire. Also, Lilo and Stitch just came out. My kids are obsessed with it. That logo looks like Stitch. So go see it. I'm sorry, you'll never unsee it. This is the content you're here for.
Go for it.
But the branding, because they picked up the FIM, is FIM WSX. So I'm going on Instagram being like, WSX, World Supercross, where is, I mean, I was like 2 seconds away from DMing Adam Bailey to be like, WTF, where is this? It's FIM WSX. So maybe they'll change it. I get it. You want to have the prestige with the FIM attached to it that makes it like an actual circuit championship, whatever. But was like, FIM, like I'm not searching. When I think about Supercross, I'm not searching out AMA. You know, it's not the way we branded it. I mean, that's a whole other side topic. I don't want to go down about AMA branding, but yeah, good on them. I know that they've had some financial troubles and it changed hands. And so I think the rebrand was a good thing, even if it looks like Stitch. But I'm excited for them. Anytime we get more dirt bikes on the track later in the year, it's a win in my book. So I'm excited.
The only thing that sucks is we're probably not going to see the defending champion Eli Tomac in World Supercross this year because the bike switch. If he goes to Ducati, which I don't think that's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to go to KTM.
I think so too.
I think that's all but done. And I think that was one of the reasons why he went to KTM is because the Ducati is going to be the production bikes are going to be late showing up. And I don't think the team is going to be prepared to have it's going to be a crapshoot to see the Ducati at A1 from what I understand. So
that's what I've heard too.
I think he shows. I think he goes to KTM, but I think with that late season bike switch, I don't think we'll see him in World Supercross.
Gosh, can we get a GoFundMe together to just buy him like a stock Yamaha so he can go to race WSX?
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, cool. This has been fun, Dan. We talked about this for a long time, and I'm glad we did it. I hope my predominantly female listeners can appreciate it. Dan is a salt of the earth human. So if you don't know Dan, give him a follow. Give DCMX a follow. Like I said, I've told Dan, I was like, I have no use for your toolboxes, but I would like a custom one for my jewelry. Okay, thanks. So I can be a customer of DCMX tools.
Anybody can. Anybody.
There you go.
That's something for everybody.
There you go. Well, cool, Dan. This has been fun. We may or may not do this again. I mean, we've tossed around the idea, but if you guys love this, let me know. Give us a follow on Instagram. I'm too old for the TikTok. I've tried and failed. I can't do it. So give us a follow at Real Housewives of Moto on Instagram and all of Dan on all the socials. DCMX. What is it? DCMX tool at DCMX Tools.
Yep, at DCMX Tools.
There you go.
Golden 633.
Love it. Cool. Thanks for chatting, Dan, and I will talk to you soon.
See ya.